Intamin have built 4 prefabricated wooden roller coasters over time, and when you hear Intamin prefab, you probably think about this not-so-little ride in New Jersey called El Toro. This is one of the highest rated wooden roller coasters ever built. But what if I told you it had a sibling in Korea that is even better? Well, we have to go to Yongin, where we'll find Everland. This is where you'll find the one and only T-Express. T-Express opened in 2008 and was the last of the Intamin prefabs, which they clearly learned from their mistakes because it's the best one. I'll be honest, it's already in the title and the thumbnail, so why not just say it? This is the best coaster I've ever been on. I will go in depth, element by element, on why that is, and I mean, that's no small feat. That means I have it above Iron Gwazi, Air Force One, Stardust Racers, everything. So honestly, let's just get straight into it. From a presentation standpoint, this ride is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it has to be the visually most impressive coaster probably in the world. That massive, dense wooden structure propped up next to the mountain and hearing the upstop wheels charge over the airtime hills is just pure perfection. Once you actually walk up to this ride, it's arguably even cooler. It really makes you feel like an ant in comparison. The entrance itself is this massive sign saying T-Express with some pretty nice theming in the Balder section right behind it. Now that we've gone over the presentation, let's quickly go over the queue. This isn't a very impressive queue, to be honest. I mean, the views of T-Express are just incredible, but from a thematic standpoint, not so much. Not much going on but some stairs, switchbacks, and some other random stuff. It's fair to assume you'll be waiting a minimum 40 minutes, basically no matter what season it is. Once you reach the station, there's yet again not much theming, but something that this station always shows to me is how insanely long these trains are. I mean, it is literally 36 riders per train. That's insane. It also helps get people through the line, as even if these aren't groundbreaking operations, the train is so long that they don't really have to be. Quickly before I start talking about the ride experience itself, I wanted to note you actually can row request. Make sure to ask fast and honestly be ready before you get up to the operators, as they will try to get you into a row quickly. You will board the train, and without further ado, let's talk about the ride experience of the best coaster in the world. You do the slight turn before reaching your cable lift. This is faster than your average chain lift, but slower than your average cable lift. However, that's made up for with the views. You will be right up next to this mountain on the left, and on the right, you will see the entire coaster right there. Once you make it to the top, it's really where it sets in that you're on this monster of a ride. But before that ride begins, you do a turn to the right, which gives the best view of any coaster I've ever experienced. It is unbelievable. Mountains and greenery for miles, and an entire view of the park. It's just perfection. But something that's also perfect is this drop. I hate to sound like a broken record, but this is yet again the best of any coaster in the world. The ejector is unparalleled. You get flung out of your seat so unbelievably hard. In the front, you still get ejector, which, even if it's a weaker ejector, is still far better than most drops. But in the back, it feels like you just got sent to Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, around the sun, and back in the blink of an eye as you slam into this valley packed with positives that causes a hard gray out every time. You then rise up into this massive camelback that will give some of, if not the most powerful ejector you've ever felt. And not only that, it is sustained for longer than almost any other hill on the planet, and the views are yet again breathtaking. After this camelback, same as the first drop, you get slammed by positives. And this turn right here is probably the only element in the world that's ever made me black out. It's been reported to pull 5+ Gs. That's even beyond literal freaking I-305. You then go through a half whippy, half graceful S-bend, slam into another turn, a little less intense but still a hard and sustained gray out, before popping up into the mid-course brake run. But being honest, this really isn't a mid-course brake run, it's like 1/5 into the ride. But don't worry, it does not hinder the rest of the experience and is absolutely needed so riders aren't feeling like they're getting bullied for the rest of the ride. This mid-course also doesn't slow you down that much, depending on the day. Sometimes it's a decent bit, but the rest of the ride is still world class. Other times you barely slow down. But either way, the drop off the mid-course is my #1 moment of straight ejector on the planet. You thought that first drop and the camelback were crazy? Oh, you are in for a treat with this. I will say this is only the best element on the ride if you're in the back, but I mean, look how hard you get whipped over this thing. It's actually crazy. Plus, like basically every hill on the ride, it's crazy sustained. Absolutely my favorite moment on the ride, and in my top 3 elements ever. After that drop is where you enter the so-called boulder section of the layout. The reason it is called that is because over in Sweden, there's a much smaller Intamin prefab called Balder, with a very similar layout to this second half. Except on T-Express, it's supersized, and you fly through it way faster. You go into an airtime hill before hitting a turn, before hitting another airtime hill that is insanely sustained and crazy, before hitting another airtime hill, then a turn. Okay, this is getting repetitive. I will say, on POV, this entire second half looks fairly slow, but in real life, it does not feel that way in the slightest. And I think a big reason for that is because you are going through the structure, getting wild head and hand choppers left and right, which is something El Toro doesn't do, and another reason I don't think it will pass T-Express for me. You will eventually hit the brake run and complete that monster of a ride. And I mean, it literally feels like a marathon. Ride time wise, it is one of the longest coasters in the world. People always rave about the Voyage for how long it is. Well, T-Express is actually only around 10 seconds shorter, which in and of itself is an insanely impressive feat. While you sit on the brakes, you can't help but think back on what on earth just happened to your body and how demented of an experience it is. It really is unparalleled for me. Nothing has ever or probably will ever pass T-Express. It is a true masterpiece. But once you finally make it back to the station, you will exit the ride, gather your loose articles, and continue your day at Everland. Trust me, for the rest of the day, you will just want to go lap T-Express, especially when you can literally hear it from like a mile away. This ride is perfect. I can't fault it for anything. I mean, what else could I possibly give it but a 10 out of 10? It's my #1. I really hope to one day get back to my old home park, Everland, and ride this beast like a million more times. But honestly, I'm satisfied with the 25 plus rides I've gotten on it, and those were enough to cement it as my favorite coaster ever built. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Express Thrills. Bye!